tutorial of the autumn lace sweater. I first just wanted to show you the sweater and talk about its construction. It's a quite basic sweater, but with lace stitches. So it's worked in a front piece and a back piece. They are done in the same way. And then you seam the sides here. I decided to leave the sides open, but you can close it if you want. But it gives a bit more room for the hips. The length is customizable to what you like. Yeah, and then we make the sleeves separately, fold them and seam them, and then attach them to the sweater. And we'll also end by making a neckline and then edging here on the sides if you like to leave it open. But yeah, let's get started.
For this sweater you will need scissors, darning needle, locking stitch markers, measuring tape. I use a 4.5mm hook, that's a US crochet, but you use the one you reach gauge with. And then I have this DK weight yarn. I'm using the Calico from Lanagato, which is 50% wool and 50% acrylic. That makes it for a really light sweater. This pattern will be using US terminology, and you can find all the information about the pattern and sizes on my in my blog post on coffeeandcrocheting.com. You can find another video where you learn how to make the gauge swatch for this sweater, so check that out first before continuing. We will now measure the gauge swatch to see that we have it. This is blocked and ready to be measured for the sweater. So I take my measuring tape. I measure it now in centimeters, but 10 centimeters is the same as 4 inches, so that's 4 inches, 10 centimeters. So I measure it here from the edge. Usually I avoid the edges, but for this pattern it's good to use the edges. So I put my 10 centimeters on the edge and then measure, and then it ends around the same space as this double crochet here. So that means that you have an edge plus the double crochet and a bit more for your 10 centimeters. So that's 2 stacked and a bit more here. So that is a good, then you know that you're correct. So if you see it again, it's like here. So it's the DC and then one of the DCs of the next stacked shell. You can also measure the single crochets down here, and then you should have 16 single crochets. So it's the same in inches. And measure here. And the length, we have our, so I measure now above the single crochet row because we won't use that. And it's this full, so it's 5 shells. So it's a row 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and then end on a row 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows for our height. And you see it's the same in inches. Measure above the single crochet row, like that. So we will begin by making the back or front side. They are made in the same way, so one of them, and we begin with the ribbing, and then turn our ribbing and work our stacked shells until it's time to split for the shoulders. But we start with the ribbing, so I make a loop to insert my hook, and then for the ribbing, or we leave a long yarn tail to sew the sides. So I'll leave a long yarn tail, and then we yarn over and make our, so now we have our knot, And then we chain 16. So yarn over, pull through 16 times. And then we will work in the back bump. So here are the chains from the front. And then you turn over and you see them from the back. And those bumps there are the back bump. So here you see them. It's those there. So we insert our hook in the second back bump from the chain. And then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's our first single crochet. And then we make single crochet across the row. Now we made our final, and then we chain 1 and turn our row. Then we continue with making single crochets in the back loop. So we see our row from the top. So that's the front loop, back loop. Usually we go through here to go through both of the loops, but now we'll only go through here, the back bump or back loop. So we make a single crochet in the back loop all the way across. So now we made a single crochet in the back loop all the way across. So we chain 1 and turn. And then continue to make rows of single crochet in the back loop until we made for size M 81 rows. This tail that I left here, I'll show you how I'll work with that. So I just take the end, place it here, and then fold the other end here, fold the next end here, and then I take this and make just a loose knot in the middle. Not too loose, because then it will unravel, but not too hard, so it's hard to end. But then I have that with me working, and I use that for seaming the sweater later. But yeah, continue making single crochets in the back loop for as many rows as your size requires. Here we have 81 ribbing rows for the size medium. As you see, my tail for sewing is now up. It doesn't matter if it's up or down. I will begin to seam above the ribbing probably. So then it's just good that it's up. But if it's down, then you just want to sew above the ribbing, then you just thread it across up. So that's not a problem. But yeah, I made a final single crochet in the back loop row. So then I've kept my yarn here. So I'll just chain 1. And then now I will be working here across the row. So for every ribbing row, I will make a single crochet. So I insert my hook here and make a single crochet. And then for the next row, a single crochet. The next single crochet. If you make 1 in every row, you should have correct number in the end. I'll mention also the ribbing doesn't have to have a specific gauge, because it's very stretchy like this, so it doesn't need to be the size of the sweater because it stretches a lot. That's the thing about ribbing, but it's good to not have it too big, because you don't want a too big ribbing. So if you find that your ribbing is wider than the sweater, then it's good to go down a hook size or 2 on the ribbing. But yeah, continue to make single crochet across the row. And then now you're getting close to the stitch mark, so you make the single crochet here in the double crochet as you would normally, and then we'll end the row by making a single crochet here in the stitch with the stitch marker. I'll remove the stitch marker so it doesn't get too tight, and then I go on the back bump and make a single crochet, and then turn and make a row 3. So then I chain 3, skip the first single crochet, then make a double crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, double, then a double crochet, and then end the row with a double crochet. So that's our little height for the neck. Then we just take our scissors. I make a bit longer tail on either for the front or the back. So I'll have for sewing the shoulders, and just cut it off and then pull through. So I have this for sewing the shoulders. Then we turn our work again and are ready for the second side. So then we take our yarn that we just cut off and make a slip knot. So we attach our hook on the slip knot. Then I remove the stitch marker, hold on the stitch so I remember, then insert my hook and attach the yarn, make a slip stitch, chain 1, then make a single crochet in that same stitch, then a single crochet in the double crochet, and then I just continue like I would a normal row 2. So then the double crochet, the 7 double crochet here in the single crochet, and then a single crochet in the turning chain. And turn, chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, and then we make a double crochet in the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 3. So now we reached our final single crochets. So then we just end with a double crochet in the final single crochet. And then we again, for this one, leave a longer tail, cut off the yarn, and pull through. So we now have our neck opening here. It's not that high, but we make the same on the other piece, so in total it's quite high. So repeat for the second piece. So this is either the front and the back, and repeat for the other. So when we've done our front and back, we place them on top of each other like this. So we have them on top of each other. Make sure that the right side is facing out. You can see that these bubble up like this, and that's the right side. And here is the wrong side that kind of goes inside like that. So place them on top of each other. And then mark from the top down where your sleeve opening will be. In the pattern it explains how much to leave. And same on the other side. And then we're ready to seam. So I usually start with the shoulders, but you can also start with the side. But I use the ends we left and just start to seam here. I'll use the whip stitch for this. So I'll go under 2 on both sides. It would work really well to do the mattress stitch here as well, since we have such nice loops. But I want to use the whip stitch on the sides, so then it's just better to use it also on the shoulders to keep it the same. All the way here, and then repeat on the other side. Here I have my end on the edge, so then I just seam from here to here where the neck opening begins. And then to sew the sides, I have my ends here on top of the ribbing, so it's here on the top. If you have them down here, then just simply weave in the end all the way until you reach here. But then, and you could also start to seam from down if you want, but I want to leave the sides open, so I start to sew from above the ribbing. And in the same way, the first stitch I just go under, so I have the yarn through both sides, and then I just whip stitch in the same way, trying to go through 2 loops on both sides. Like this. Make it fairly even and continue all the way up until your stitch mark. I don't weave fast enough at this point because I want to make sure that it's then the correct opening for the sleeve, so I leave it like I just usually leave it there so I can correct it later on. And then repeat the same on the other side, sewing all the way up to the stitch mark. The sleeves are made basically in the same way as the body. So you begin with making your ribbing in the same way as the body. And then the only difference is that now when we've done our ribbing, chain 1, and then we will make 1 stitch in the first row, then 2 stitches in the second row, and then across the row. So we make first 1 stitch, a single crochet, and then insert our hook here in the second row, and then insert our hook again in the same stitch. So we make 2 single crochets there, then 1, and then we will make 2, so we insert our hook in the same place again. Now 1, then 2, then 1, 2, then 1, 2, and repeat across, so you have the correct number of stitches. And that's 51. And then I'll turn, chain 1, and then just continue to repeat row 2 and 3 like I did on the body, and make as many rows as you want for your preferred length. And and then let's meet you back when we have our full sleeve done. For our sleeve, we will place it like this, wrong side out, fold it in half, and then we'll start to seam using the tail we left here in the beginning. Then we sew it in the same way as we did on the body, so we whip stitch it. So first we go on the one, and then we start with our whip stitches. And then just continue to seam it all the way up. And then we will attach it to the body of the sweater. To attach the sleeve, we simply just put it next to the opening here. With the opening here, we seam the sleeve and the sides here. And then I just take the end that I had left from the sleeve and just seam it to the sweater. I whip stitch this as well. Just continue to sew all the way around. So when you reach here, you just continue to turn the sweater and continue. And then repeat for the second sleeve. To make the neckline, we place our sweater with the right side facing out. Make a slip knot to attach our yarn. Then we attach it here on the side seam. Trying to figure out so you don't get all the ends. I always wait and weave in all my ends in the end, so if I do need to make changes. We will chain 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then in the second chain from the hook, make a single crochet and continue across. There's our 7th. And then we need to attach our ribbing to the sweater. That we will do by making one slip stitch here on the sweater and then a second one here on the sweater. And then we chain 1 and turn. Then we will skip the 2 slip stitches, 1, 2, and continue to make single crochet in the back loop here on our ribbing. So that's 7 single crochet in the back loop.